The con-socialists under the leadership of the de facto Prime Minister Jeremy Hunt and his right-hand man Rishi Sunak are completely destroying the economy, this time by introducing even more socialism into the energy sector. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. The Conservative Party are being completely infiltrated by the socialist light members of Toryism. That's why Richard Tice calls them the con-socialists instead of the Conservatives. It's getting completely embarrassing now because there is no real mandate for this sort of agenda. This is no longer even the 2019 manifesto. And the way it's going, considering Rishi Sunak has given so much powers to Jeremy Hunt, is doing multiple things as Chancellor, and we don't really see much of Rishi. We actually hear more from the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt. So that's why we call him the de facto Prime Minister, with his deputy, Rishi Sunak, the pretty face, Rishi Sunak. So this is actually creating some chaos in the energy sector because they decided to learn from Jeremy Corbyn and Keir Starmer by introducing windfall tax. And they thought, well, maybe maybe economics is black and white. Maybe it's like primary school. If a company has this much money, you tax them, you take all the money, and everyone's happy. I wish it was that easy, Jeremy Hunt, but it's not, because now we have Total Energies, a huge company that's worth £134 billion. They're going to be withdrawing their planning spendings and reducing them on new wells next year, as windfall tax forces drilling businesses to re-examine their plans. So a lot of the investment is now being withdrawn from the UK. We already have problems with energy security and, generally speaking, in terms of consumption versus storage. Now we're going to have even less. Now we're going to have even more problems in regards to finding energy sources, and considering they don't really want to do shale gas, and they're not really fully keen on accelerating plans for nuclear power. So let's see what happens. Let's see when we're going to run out of energy, when we're going to actually go to other countries and beg for expensive energy. I mean, we already signed a deal with Joe Biden to get his shale gas instead of our own shale gas. That's a whole different issue anyway. But this is a fundamental problem with the way they are doing democracy. It's not democracy anymore when you have these two. On the right-hand side, Rishi Sunak has consistently rejected by Tory members, yet somehow he still became Prime Minister. Jeremy Hunt already lost his leadership election in 2019, and once again he failed to stand this time in 2022. And yet, he's basically in charge of government. In the Labour Party, we have the same issue. Keir Starmer is technically leader. But over the last few days and weeks, we've seen much more of the former Prime Minister, Gordon Brown. Gordon Brown is running the show now in the Labour Party. The whole agenda, the policy programme of the Labour Party is Brown Night. They're already introduced constitutional vandalism by destroying the House of Lords, which has already become so politicised. And the fact that the House of Lords has become politicised over the last decade or so, couple of decades, that's why the House of Lords is not working. But instead of actually making it better, they want to completely destroy the Constitution, remove it, replace it with their own version of an elected chamber, which is going to be more politically corrupt and more left-wing. It's not going to increase democracy, it's going to reduce it, and we know exactly what's going to happen. The role of the House of Lords is supposed to be scrutinising and holding the House of Commons to account, not to become another divisive, corrupt political chamber full of left-wing politicians. But it is what it is. Now, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk to you guys about Nicola Sturgeon. She's up to no good, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to get your own merch, We Are the Media and all the others, you can find the link in the description. I'm Tousi and we are the media.